If you're new here, my name is Tiffany. This is Hinterlife Homeschool, and today's vlog is going to be covering how to add magic to your homeschool. Homeschooling to me is something that is magical. So it makes sense to add that little sprinkle of magic to every day. And it means that even though we have the same rhythm throughout our day, it never feels mundane. It never feels like we're just, stuck in this loop of doing the same things every day. Whether we're home or we're out, it creates this special atmosphere that allows us to feel excited about every day. And that is something that has been hugely, that is literally changed from just doing school to having a lifestyle, turning that into something that is we look for the magic in everything that we do now. And I've been doing this for so long now that it has become an instinct that I instinctively look for elements where I can kind of elaborate on or create just that little secret surprise or that, real life experience that would bring everything to that next level. I remember my school teacher, Mrs. Jones, and she read the BFG to our class. And this is one of my earliest school memories. So it's kind of a little blurry, but I remember the magic that day had. And I remember feeling like, wow, why can't we do more of this? I remember thinking, I remember talking nonstop when I got home to my mum about how cool Mrs. Jones was, and I hoped that we would do more of that sort of thing. And I don't think we ever actually did, but that was a major memory that I recalled when I was thinking about homeschooling and thinking about we could do more of those things, and that's kind of stayed with me. And I obviously, that memory was so important to me to create with my kids that I held on to it, right? And I guess this whole idea of adding magic to my homeschool, I've read the Brave Learner by Julie Bogart, and she refers to something about I guess adding magic, but also creating the situation where magic can occur, where that magical learning is just an everyday lifestyle. It's a bonus to our day, but it is actually what we remember. And I think that there is so much there. There is so much in creating that magic and allowing our kids to be kids and allowing to just be in the moment. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is that sometimes things can get so mundane and we can get so busy and so caught up in where we need to be and what we need to be doing. We just rush constantly. And my point with adding magic to our homeschool is really about slowing down, and it's really about being more purposeful about our choices in what we spend our time on, and really, truly about connecting with our kids on their level, in their interest, and enjoying it as well. Choose things that will make it magical for you. And allow to experience that together. What are our senses? We have 5 senses. We have, smell, taste, touch, eyesight, hearing. Okay, so I think about that when I think about my recipe for adding the magic. I think about what senses that I can draw on and how that works within whatever special interests the kids have, or whatever it is. Usually the special interest is the curriculum that we're using. So when I'm looking at a special interest that the kids have, and then I've created that or found that curriculum to follow or that guide or a book that we're reading through. You know, it could be any type of book that you're working through. There are elements and opportunities there where we can add to. We can always add to things to make it more personalized or more enjoyable for our kids. That's the benefit of homeschooling. We tend to know our kids like really well. What will they find so exciting? What will make the things that they've learned more realistic to them, more real life experience? How can we draw on those things? So the way that I incorporate the senses is, now I don't try and touch on all senses all in one day. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to explain the way in which I kind of find the opportunity to incorporate something special. When we talk about homeschool, I often hear a lot of people saying, you know, oh, I don't have time for the mess. I don't have time for the, you know, for science and all the experiments and the mess that it makes. And, you know, it's hard because it is messy, and we have a lot of mess in our homes, especially when we're homeschooling, because it's just, you know, everyone's like in the house and we're home more often. Like, yes, we still go out, we go do amazing things and stuff out of the home, but essentially this is our base. And it gets intense, especially if you're in a smaller home as well. The mess can get on top of you, literally. It can prevent you from doing things just because you might not have the space. So it really is something that you have to be purposeful with. I have put in a lot of work for that, and I'm still working on it. I'm still working on decluttering and having less and making more space for the things that are important. We have a curriculum that I've chosen that the kids are really interested in. They've come up with the idea of the interests that they're wanting. Isaac was very adamant that he wanted to do sharks, and that was the starting point for me, because I was really struggling to find stuff that I thought that they would really enjoy in that element, in that area of ocean stuff, because we've done ocean studies and marine biology units and all that sort of stuff. So I didn't want to feel like we were repeating ourselves again. I wanted to find a different angle of it. I look through it, and I look to where there are elements where I can add the magic to. And that's what I start doing. So once I have a look through the curriculum, I've taken out the parts that I'm no longer I'm not interested in, or I know won't be interested for the kids, most importantly. Then I look at where I can add, is there something that we can make? Is it something that we can bake? Is it something that we can watch? Is there a documentary that I can find on the Disney Channel? Has the most amazing documentaries on there. And then I kind of look at where I can find elements to bring into reality, right? Into our everyday. Is there a place that we can go to experience that element? Is there a museum that we can find that might facilitate the history of that? So I've worked out that we're going to go to Sea Life. We're going to, do the artwork of the sea stars, and then we're going to go and actually see the sea stars in real life. Once we've done our artworks and our fun little elements of learning, I know that they're going to want to know about those particular animals and that whole ecosystem and how it works and how they survive and their instincts and all of that sort of stuff. So we'll find some great documentaries to watch as well. I'm sure we'll hit on, in the environmental impact as well, because they always ask those kinds of questions. We'll probably do some volunteer work in those rock pool areas where we can go and take a big garbage bag and fill it up with rubbish and find ways that we can make things a little bit cleaner in that area. We'll investigate that. That is magic. The kids love that. None of this is hard work to them. This is all elements that bring joy and bring that reality into the learning experience, because that's what it is. It's life, right? So those are kind of the ideas that I'm getting with making that. The last video I mentioned about camping, and that one of our goals was to grow a connection with the outdoors and create that resilience around, you know, being in the outdoors more. And I had been thinking about creating this, or you know, using this curriculum. So it's Campfire Curriculums, and I did purchase it, and it does look amazing. And I have been just looking through it and figuring out, you know, what we can do and how we can add the magic to that. And I've already got a whole heap of things that will really work with this. And that's the thing. It doesn't have to be something that you have to buy. It can be stuff that you have. And I tend to do you know how some people do toy rotations? Well, I do that with our homeschool equipment and bits and pieces as well. I put things away, we have a break from them, and then I bring them out when they're appropriate with particular curriculums. And that works really, really well. And often I'll do like a strewing table where I fill a basket, I put elements that are within that kind of theme out on our coffee table. That's usually where we sit when I do our read aloud morning time, and they just help themselves and they look through it and they feel inspired. So this camping curriculum, this is actually something that we're going to be doing on the weekends with Dad, and we're going to be working through this, and it is awesome. So I've already got heaps of ideas. We're going to go to our local camping store and look through and have a look at what they have and go experiment with all of those kinds of things, get ideas. We're going to make a wish list. I'm sure there's lots of things like that in here already. So this kind of this curriculum focuses on survival. It focuses on like bush food and eating, how to cook, all that sort of thing. It focuses on picking a good spot for camping, how to choose where to camp, forest, lake or beach. It focuses on what could go wrong when you lose your compass. Ouch. So I'm guessing that's probably, you know, around first aid, which we're thinking about doing, trying to find a homeschool group that, you know, might want to come with us to do a first aid course as well, and how to get ready and go. So that's kind of what it covers, and I think that this is just going to be natural to be able to do this on the weekend with Dad. He will definitely be helping us out with the tent choice. We haven't got a tent yet, so we're going to be choosing the tent. The kids are going to be fully involved in that, being incredibly practical, working out a budget, how much do we want to spend, how often do we want to go camping. All of those decisions are going to be made as a family, and that is really, really exciting. So for this camping curriculum, I've already chosen a couple of things that we already have. We purchased these. Oh, it's locked, that's why. Whoopsie. Okay. We purchased some whittling knives for the kids. These are kid safe ones. They're amazing. Needs a clean. It gets well used. So both of my kids have one and they're fantastic. So that's going to be a really good one for us to learn some whittling. And I've purchased a book to go with it for during this camping curriculum, which has got a little bit of reading and a bit of time outdoors. So this is going to be really fantastic. It's got some great little things to practice through: how to make a fork, a ring holder, a page holder, which is super cute. So many great things, door stop. So, you know, when we go camping, we can take this and be inspired with what we can use, what we can create. I found this poem book that I purchased a little while back from Wildings Forest School. So I thought that was something that would be really beautiful to work in with our morning time. It's all kind of outdoors focused and environmental focused. And there's another example of how I've added the magic in the past has been around Jane Goodall. So we did a little unit study on Jane Goodall, and we loved this book so much. There's an element in this book at the beginning around when she was a little girl, she was so obsessed with observing animals, and she went missing for 8 hours. No one could find her, and it ended up that she was actually sitting in the chicken coop, watching and waiting for a chicken to lay an egg. And that's what actually started our chicken obsession in our family. So this book has made a huge impact on us. And, you know, the whole chicken coop obsession would not have existed. It would not have occurred in our family without reading this book. So that's the kind of magic that I'm talking about. We read about it, and then the kids were like, wow, that sounds really cool. I'd like to watch a chicken lay an egg. And then Isaac was like, well, maybe we could get some chickens, and maybe we could have a coop, and maybe we could do this and this. And I'm like, oh, chickens, I don't know about that. Look at us now. We've got 6 chickens already. And our coop just keeps getting like upgrades and changes. And it is just through my attempt to add magic that it turned into this big, beautiful thing that I am completely, like, I could not imagine life without having chickens in our backyard now. It's an element that is so special to us. That is an element that we added, and we chose to do that because of just one little suggestion. So that's an example of how you can take a suggestion and from your kids and follow it to its fullest. And I'm not saying go out and get some chickens, but I'm saying that, you know, you need to be comfortable with it, but you need to, it's about involving the whole entire family. It's about having those conversations about what if, and not just going, oh no, we can't do that. Like, investigate it, consider it, like, never say no, never say never. So I find I generally try to hit 2 elements of the senses within a lesson. Now this is just kind of a guide, because this is, again, I tend to follow my instincts with this sort of stuff. So I've just been trying to figure out how to explain my thought process around adding magic to our day. And I kind of thought, well, I think that what I generally do is I think of whether we could bake something, whether we can make something, like craft or create something. I think about whether we could play a game, whether there's a board game that could incorporate that. I look at what we have at the library, stories and things like that. I add, you know, I try and find those really beautiful books, those books that my kids love, like the illustrations and all of those elements. And then I try and find, you know, elements of play. Pinterest is really fantastic for games and things like that as well. So as in like running around games, being silly with our kids, that is an element of magic that you can create. Music, can I involve music in it somehow? Taste testing, restaurants. When we were doing our Asia unit study, we actually went to an Asian market and we got a whole bunch of stuff. We had a budget, and I let the kids literally choose whatever they wanted from that. There was some really sugary things involved in that taste test, but it's part of the magic. It's part of letting them try it and experience it. And these are things that kids in Asia eat, and this is something that, you know, they can really enjoy, or they can really go, wow, too much sugar, and, you know, all of the things. So we did that. And then we did also for that Asia unit, we actually found an app where he photoshopped himself, which took quite a bit of time, into the background of the Great Wall of China. And so that was a really cool experience, and he printed them out, and then he made his own little tourist advertisement poster. And that was an element of magic. Going to the restaurant and trying a whole bunch of different things, and they gave us a whole heap of chopsticks, and there was a calendar on the as placemat, so we got to take that home. And yeah, so there are so many ways that we can add magic to the day and to that experience or that lesson. Something that smells amazing, or the sensory aspect of making that mess, like Play-Doh, making Play-Doh from scratch. When we were doing I think it was from the A Year of Tales curriculum, they have some really great little elements of adding magic as well. And I really enjoyed, we did hedgehogs, and part of the creation part that we did was we made cacao Play-Doh. So I added cacao into the Play-Doh to make it brown, and it had this beautiful smell, and it was homemade Play-Doh, and it was just easy. You just add the cacao into a normal homemade Play-Doh recipe. And then we found a whole heap of little sticks, and we made the spikes of the hedgehog. And then I went, okay, let's turn one into an echidna. And we learned about echidnas and hedgehogs. We did a Venn diagram of the differences. We were shocked to find out how different they actually were, and made some cute little characters, and we let them dry, and they were gorgeous. And she played with them for weeks. And, you know, that's adding magic and facilitating that. Just sitting down and playing a game with the kids, that's adding magic for them. So there are so many elements to be able to create that and work it in with our homeschool day, and not just make it a special occasion thing or anything like that. It can all be special. Every day can be special. It just depends on how much we want to put into it, to how much we want to get out of it. And pretty soon you'll find that, well, I found over time, the more I got to know my kids, the better at predicting what the success of the energy that I put in, and what I would get back out of it. As in, by that I mean whether they actually enjoy it. You know, it's really hard sometimes. You can put so much energy into creating this amazing sensory experience with, like, you know, oobleck or slime, and they'll spend 2 minutes in it and make all this mess and then walk away and go, oh, that wasn't really fun. You know, it can be devastating sometimes, and I get that. I've been there, but I've gotten better with over time, that I can predict what's going to work, what's not going to work, and my time is well spent. The energy that I put in is generally gifted back in just having a beautiful day together, and no one's fighting, and, you know, we certainly have our moments, but generally, you know, 90% of the day has been a wonderful experience for everybody involved, and everyone's more happy to help clean up and contribute to that cleanup if we've all had a good experience and it's ended in, oh, that was so much fun, let's do that again another time, instead of no one's happy and everyone's bickering, and then I'm left with, a cleanup at the end of the day. No one wants that. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. If you stayed to the end, thank you. I just wanted to share with you some of the ideas and the concepts that created this whole thought process around adding magic to our homeschool day. I know that sometimes it can be really hard to find the energy, and I just wanted to note that it's really important that we don't burn ourselves out trying to add magic. This video, I've been very hesitant about, putting too much pressure on the idea or the concept, because it's got to be realistic. And if you're coming from a place of burnout, this is not going to work for you. This is not the time to focus on creating magic. If you're coming from a place of burnout, then please just rest, recoup, simplify, go back to basics. Do not be trying to add magic in when you're already feeling exhausted. This is something that you can add in later once you're feeling rested and comfortable. Or you could scrap everything else and just focus on connecting with your kids and adding magic. That's it. But don't try and do too many things all at once, okay? I really want my videos to be helpful, and I don't want to be adding more mum guilt to the already very noisy world out there. These are just my ideas of how I've made homeschooling even more special for for us, and I wanted to share that because I feel like it's something that is such a gift to me every day that I hope that other people can benefit from it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you like what I'm talking about and you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy some of the other videos I've made. I create videos every week, so make sure you subscribe and join me each time. I really appreciate anything that you might have to say, whether it's good or bad. This is an open environment here, and I welcome any feedback or ideas or what's working for you. If you have any questions, you can connect with me on Instagram or leave a comment in the comments below. Thanks so much, guys. I really enjoy making this video for you. I hope it made sense. It's a really tricky thing to talk about, and it's also very personal. So, you know, what works for me is different for you. Your kids are different. My kids are different. You know, we need to personalize these things ourselves. And over time, this has been something that has evolved over years. So don't think that it's something that just comes, you know, naturally for everybody. If you're struggling with the idea, that's okay, because so did I. And now I feel like it's just such an instinctual thing that I can't even describe it to you. I've struggled with, you know, describing how to create these situations. So please know that you're always going to be feeling challenged before you start something, but just dive in. Just start with small elements, like and just remember those senses. That's what I always draw on, is just remember those senses, and remember, you know, get messy, go outside in the rain, jump in muddy puddles, you know, search a branch when you're climbing a tree and find the little insects, look under things, encourage that investigation, and I hope that it leads to more magic in your homeschool day.